Stop for a moment. Not just your hands, not just your thoughts. Let your spirit pause. This isn't coincidence. This isn't noise. This is heaven interrupting your timeline on purpose. While you were scrolling, something sacred was reaching. While your fingers searched for distraction, God was scanning for someone ready. And his eyes didn't land on a crowd. They landed on you. You've been trying to make sense of the silence. You've asked questions in the quiet hours that no one heard but God. And now heaven has moved because the timing has come due. This is not a message. It's a summons. God saw what you carried that no one else could name. The weight that bowed your back in the spirit, the smile you wore over fatigue, the responsibilities no one offered to help lift, the prayers you whispered with cracked lips and a trembling heart. This moment has been written in your story since before your first breath. Heaven did not consult a clock. It consulted your breaking point and chose this moment to break the silence instead. You are not here because a video cued. You are not here because the algorithm aligned. You are here because the King of Glory spoke your name into this hour and said, "It's time." Look around. Nothing may look different. But the air just shifted. The spiritual climate around your life is responding. Your past tried to put up a fight, but it's losing ground fast. God is not distant. He is leaning close. Not a God of abstraction, but a Father who still steps into dust and breathes. Heaven has kept count of the nights you didn't sleep, the days you couldn't cry, the relationships that turned cold without explanation, the rooms that swallowed your voice, the betrayals that cut without bleeding. Every single one of them written in a ledger with your name etched in glory. You've been holding together what should have broken. You've been pressing forward when your soul begged to sit down. And in that faithfulness, hidden, humble, uncelebrated God found something rare. Chosen, yes, you. Not the loudest, not the flashiest, not the one with the perfect record. The one who kept going. The one who stayed soft when bitterness would have made sense. The one who forgave before the apology ever came. The one who worshiped with tears running like rivers and still lifted your hands. This is the hour of divine appointment. Heaven's timing is not late. It's surgical. It arrives when endurance has done its full work. The Spirit of God is speaking into your story right now, not just with comfort, but with command. Not just to soothe, but to shift. Something is coming undone. Chains that were wrapped in silence are loosening. Walls that years of prayer could not crack are trembling. You are being repositioned, not later, not next month now. Listen to the stillness beneath these words. Can you hear it? The sound of something ancient turning in your favor. The voice of the Lord whispering to angels on your behalf. The court of heaven issuing release orders for everything held back, locked away, or delayed. And as your name is spoken in those courts, all creation begins to obey. Mountains will move, valleys will rise, timing will bend, and the winds of the Spirit will carry repayment straight into your lap. Because you didn't walk away, because you didn't let go when it would have been easier to fold, because you held on tired, confused, aching, and still said, "God, I trust you." That trust has become a key, and that key is turning now. Heaven is not just visiting, it's invading. Not just to comfort, but to restore. Not just to restore, but to repay. Something holy has begun. Keep your spirit open. Keep your posture ready. What's coming next will make sense of what came before. Let your heart say yes. Let your bones remember strength. Let the wind of the Spirit brush across the ashes and call forth flame. This is not just a word. It is the sound of doors unlocking. And your name is written on the handle. You've been asking the question in the dark, Why did it last so long? Not out loud, not in complaint, just quietly under your breath when no one else was listening. In the hours when your strength whispered instead of shouted. In the seasons when breakthrough felt like a rumor and silence felt like a sentence. Heaven heard that question. And now heaven is answering. It lasted because you were not being punished. You were being prepared. You thought you were buried, but you were planted. Everything in you said it was over. But God was just beginning. He was building something that could not be rushed. You were not forgotten, you were being formed. While others ran ahead, God kept you hidden. Not because you were behind, but because He was forging you in the quiet fire. Hiddenness was not rejection. It was refinement. He was burning off what couldn't stay with you in the next season. He was stripping away what success would have concealed. He was digging a deep well so the water would never run dry. You didn't fail. You passed the test. Faith under fire. Hope under delay. Worship under weight. That's what separates those who perform from those who carry power. What looked like delay was actually divine pacing. Heaven was not slow, it was stretching your spirit. Maturity does not come in easy seasons. It is forged in waiting rooms, wildernesses, and war zones of the soul. You've been wondering if something was wrong with you, if you missed a sign, if you disqualified yourself without knowing it. But God isn't punishing you. He was preparing the capacity to carry what's coming. Think of the seed underground. It cracks, it splits, it presses through dirt surrounded by silence, and it looks like death. But in that silence, roots are going down, and a miracle is pushing toward the surface. That was you. Your life hasn't been on pause. It's been on purpose. God never wastes pain. He collects it, redeems it, transforms it into spiritual currency. And you've been making deposits in a place called promise. Every hour you showed up tired. Every prayer you whispered even when your heart felt dry. Every act of obedience that no one clapped for. Every smile through heartbreak. Every moment you chose humility when you could have justified resentment. Heaven kept record, not to accuse but to repay. Even now, something eternal is being written in your name. God is not a man that He should forget, and what He stored in the secret place, He's about to release in the open. The fire didn't come to destroy you. It came to refine what was eternal inside you. What survived the flame is what will sustain your future. You are stronger than you realize. You are purer than you were. You are readier than you know. There's a moment in every refining where the gold is pulled from the heat. That moment has come. The heat is lifting. The silence is breaking. The delay is ending. This was not wasted time. It was investment time. The pressure was never about punishment. It was about power. Heaven wasn't testing your performance. It was enlarging your inheritance. You're about to see why it took as long as it did. You're about to understand why God said not yet when you were ready to settle. You're about to realize that He was not building a moment. He was building a mantle. There are things coming that will require the version of you that only the fire could produce. Let go of the guilt. Lay down the self-blame. Silence the voices of shame. None of it belongs in your next season. This was all preparation. And the evidence is about to appear. Not in your imagination, in your reality. Doors will open not because you forced them, but because you were forged for them. What's coming isn't random, it's reward. What if heaven had a system, an actual law governing restoration, not a soft hope, not a gentle maybe? A law written in eternity, backed by the full authority of the one who sits on the throne. This is that law, and it's in motion over your life. You didn't just survive loss, you triggered heaven's restoration clause. Because God doesn't just comfort after pain, He repays. And He doesn't repay like man repays. He repays in full. Then He adds interest. Then He multiplies that. You've been asking when relief will come. But what's coming is more than relief, it's reversal. And not just in one area. God restores in 3 dimensions. First, relational repayment. Let's speak plainly. You lost people. Some walked away. Some betrayed. Some ghosted. Some stayed in body but withdrew in spirit. And you kept reaching. You kept forgiving. You kept sowing into dry ground, hoping something would grow. It didn't. But here's what God is saying. You will never again be required to maintain relationships that drain you. You will no longer need to chase people who cannot carry you. The era of begging to be understood is over. God is sending divine relationships. People who see you without explanation. People who value your presence, not just your usefulness. People who pour instead of only pulling. You're not going back to what was. You're stepping into what should have been all along. Ruth lost her husband, her stability, her home. But in her obedience to follow what didn't make sense, she encountered Boaz, the Redeemer, who didn't just give her provision, he gave her legacy. Through that union came the lineage of David and of Christ. Your losses weren't just painful. They were prophetic positioning. The second dimension, material repayment. Let's not pretend money doesn't matter. Let's not spiritualize struggle when God's word promises overflow. What was withheld is being released. What was stolen is being returned. What was delayed is being fast-tracked. You're not just entering provision. You're entering abundance that erases the memory of lack. Some doors didn't open because you were supposed to build your own. Some streams dried up, so you dig wells others forgot existed. Proverbs 6:31 declares that when the thief is caught, he must repay sevenfold. The enemy didn't just hurt you, he made himself indebted to you. And God is the collector. Your name is on heaven's accounts receivable. And the amount due has grown beyond what you imagined. This is repayment with compound interest. It will come in unexpected ways through channels you didn't predict. Some blessings will walk straight through the front door. Others will arrive in disguise. But you'll know it was God because the weight of His signature will be unmistakable. Think of Job. His losses were staggering. Family, fortune, health. Even his own friends became accusers. But Job 42:10 says that the Lord restored his fortunes and gave him twice as much as he had before. Not equal, not fair, double. God doesn't believe in even exchanges. He believes in exceeding all you thought was possible. Third, emotional and spiritual repayment. This one is harder to describe, but you'll feel it. Joy will return to places you thought were permanently numb. Peace will cover nights that used to echo with anxiety. Confidence will grow where shame once rooted itself deep. God doesn't just fix what's visible. He restores what no one sees. Psalm 23 doesn't say He restores my reputation. It says He restores my soul. The part of you that wore grief like a second skin. The part that forgot how to laugh without fear. The part that whispered, maybe this is just my life now. That part is being rewired by glory. You won't just heal, you'll thrive. You won't just function, you'll flow. The heaviness is lifting, not by your effort, but by the Spirit breathing new life into what felt dead. The enemy's greatest mistake was letting you live. Because now not only will you recover, you'll reign. And that's what he never wanted. He thought the delay would break your hope. He thought the betrayal would harden your heart. He thought the drought would leave you dry forever. But God, 2 words that change everything. God is repaying, not just what was taken, but what it cost you to endure. He's repaying the years that felt empty, the months that went unseen, the days that drained your strength, the choices you made in private to stay holy when compromise was easier. Nothing is wasted. The weight you carried will now become the weight of glory resting on your life. This is heaven's law, and heaven never loses a case. Now that heaven has decreed repayment, the question shifts: are you ready to receive it? Not just in word, not just in hope, but in capacity. You've prayed for the blessing, but now God is asking, is there room? Before the oil flows, vessels must be gathered. Before the breakthrough bursts through the ceiling, the foundation must be cleared. Before the downpour comes, the gutters of your soul must be unclogged. Heaven is not withholding. It's waiting for your readiness. The widow in 2 Kings 4 had only a small jar of oil. Her situation looked like scarcity. Her surroundings shouted lack. But when the prophet spoke, she didn't argue, she prepared. She went door to door, gathering empty vessels. She filled her home not with solutions, but with space. And heaven honored the space. The oil kept flowing as long as there was something to fill. It only stopped when capacity ran out. It wasn't heaven's shortage, it was her ceiling. What about you? Have you made room in your mind for something better than survival? Have you made room in your spirit for joy that isn't borrowed from circumstance? Have you made room in your daily life for the pace of blessing? Because God doesn't just pour into need, He pours into faithful preparation. The oil didn't come until the vessels were ready. The rain didn't fall for Noah until the ark was finished. The fire didn't fall on the altar until the wood was laid in order. Your readiness speaks louder than your requests. And there's something else. Repayment flows through clean pipes, and the Spirit is saying it's time to release what's blocking the flow. Unforgiveness, bitterness, silent resentment. You've justified it. You've carried it like armor. You've wrapped it in scriptures that sounded strong but were rooted in pain. But now God is pointing at it, not to condemn you, but to free you. Because that weight doesn't match your next season. It clogs the pipes through which favor travels. God is not asking you to excuse what happened. He's not saying it didn't hurt. He's not asking you to pretend betrayal was a blessing. But He is telling you, it cannot go with you. Not if you want to walk in overflow. You cannot carry bitterness in one hand and blessing in the other. One will spill the other. You cannot speak resurrection while cradling offense. You cannot expect heaven to flood what your heart has locked shut. Let it go, not for their sake, for yours, because you have no time left to waste, no emotional real estate left to lease to what already robbed you. This is a divine cleanout, a sacred renovation. The clutter of yesterday must leave to make room for the glory of what's next. Your capacity is sacred ground now. Let expectation rise where despair once lived. Let praise fill the space bitterness used to occupy. Let quiet trust take the seat where anxiety once shouted. Lift your eyes. There's a cloud the size of a man's hand, and it's heading your way. This is the time to prepare your jars, to gather your strength, to open the doors wide, to stretch your tent pegs. Because heaven is not releasing sprinkles, it's releasing floodgates. And the only question is, will you have room for it? Let your preparation speak louder than your prayers. Let your cleansing speak louder than your complaints. Let your readiness be your act of worship, and heaven will fill what you've emptied in faith. The wind is shifting. It's not imagination. It's not coincidence. It's not wishful thinking wrapped in spiritual language. It's heaven answering a season with a move, a holy, irreversible move. The doors are creaking open, not one day, not someday, now. Within days, you'll see it a conversation that couldn't have been arranged by man, a resource you didn't plan for. A door that sat sealed for years will swing on hinges only angels could forge. It will carry the weight of the supernatural. It will bear the fingerprints of God. And you'll know. You'll know that this was what the delay was for. You'll know that the long nights weren't wasted. You'll know that the silence wasn't punishment, and it was the sound of heaven preparing an answer with your name on it. The question now is not if the shift is coming. It's whether you'll move with it. Because repayment demands reception, and reception demands agreement. God will not force you to be blessed. He will not drag you into overflow. He invites, He opens. But you must walk through. Do not shrink back. Do not rehearse your losses when heaven is trying to write your gain. Do not talk yourself out of what you've been preparing for. This is the moment where belief must rise taller than memory, where faith must shout louder than fear, where your expectation becomes the container for what heaven is trying to pour. Clear space, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. Speak what you want to see. Prepare for what you haven't touched yet. Move like the blessing is already on the way, because it is. Blessing doesn't start when it arrives. It starts when you believe it's coming. The widow gathered vessels before the oil flowed. That was her act of faith. That was her statement to the atmosphere, I expect something sacred to show up. Now it's your turn. Gather your capacity. Speak your agreement. Walk like favor is your portion, because it is. And as you do, release. Release every name that still stings. Release every moment that still echoes with disappointment. Release every memory that holds hands with bitterness. Not because they deserve freedom, but because you do. You cannot carry repayment in a clenched fist. You cannot wear blessing like armor. It must rest on open hands. Let offense dissolve. Let the weight of old wounds melt under the warmth of divine justice. Not one moment of your suffering will go unpaid, but the payment requires a pure heart to hold it. Forgive not because you forget, but because heaven remembers and heaven is repaying. Now open your mouth. Say it out loud. Say it like your next season depends on it. I receive the repayment heaven is releasing over my life. I align myself with divine favor. I prepare for overflow. I release what no longer belongs. I declare that what was stolen is being returned, multiplied, restored, and running over. In Jesus' name. The decree has gone forth. The vaults of heaven are open. The angels are already moving. And the silence that hovered like a cloud is parting. Light is breaking through. This is the moment the enemy never wanted you to reach. But you did. You survived what was meant to stop you. You endured what was meant to break you. And now you will receive what you were always promised. The repayment isn't coming. It's here.